What's up, everybody? My name is Brad, and today I've got another book review for you, and I'm going to be talking about The Pale White by Chad Lutzke. This is his newest novella. It came out around the end of 2019 sometime. I want to say October or November or so. But I read this with my friend Nikki from I Read Past My Bedtime. We did it as a buddy read this month, and I'll put a link to her Instagram channel down in the description. But usually with these book reviews, recently I've been reading the synopsis for you guys. But for this one, I'm not going to do that. It is short. It's a novella. It's about 98 pages or so. But it's such a good story. I don't want to give anything away by reading the synopsis. I feel like the synopsis gives just a little bit away that's better found out by you actually reading the story. But I will give sort of a brief description and my thoughts and everything on the book. The book, it centers on three young girls. We have Alex. She's sort of a punk rock goth chick. She believes that she is a vampire, which was a cool little aspect to the story. We have Stacia. I believe it's how you pronounce her name. It's Stacia. She's about 17 years old or so. She's sort of your typical high school girl, but she came from sort of an abusive family, not necessarily physical abuse, but more mental abuse and neglect. Her mom was an alcoholic, and her mom's boyfriends weren't that great. And then lastly, we have Cammie, who I believe is like 7, 8, or 9-ish years old. She doesn't talk. She is a mute, and she has this pet house plant. I believe it's a fern that she carries around sort of as her coping mechanism. But all three of these girls had been captured against their will, kidnapped, and they had been taken to this beachfront house, and they are sex slaves, sex trafficking. The book does deal with some heavy and dark subject matter, but Chad Lutzke does a great job of there's no explicit, like rape scenes. He's not going for the shock factor to try to shock you. It's all sort of implied what has happened to them. His writing is great, so we definitely get, glimpses as to what has happened, but it's not explicit. It's not shocking. All the dirty, nasty, details are just hiding right beyond the curtain. We know they're there. We just don't see them. And I think that's a testament to his writing. And, his writing is strong enough. His writing is strong enough where he doesn't have to pull out, the shock factor to shock and awe and wow you. His writing is good enough and deep enough where within just the first couple of pages, I already felt sympathetic for these girls. I already was on their side. I wanted them to succeed. I was rooting for them. And that was just in, like I said, the first couple of pages. This is only the second time I've read Chad Lutzke, and this is the first time I've read one of his solo stories. The other one I read was a collaboration with John Bowden. It was another novella, so it was another short. It was like 100 pages or so. But Chad Lutzke, from what I have seen, or basically all of his work, is either short stories or short novellas, about 100 pages or so, give or take. And he seems to be, the king of that domain. The short story, the short novella, seems to be his spot, what he does best. And like I said, the writing, what he's able to do in just 100 pages or so, it takes some other authors, 300, 400 pages to pull off the same effect. His writing is straight to the point. It's clean. It's hard hitting, and the writing is just fantastic. I really love his writing style. Like I said, just within the first couple of pages, I was already feeling for these girls. They have been trapped in this beach house. Stacia has been there for about a year, we know. And the other two, Alex and Cammie, we're not really sure how long they've been there. And their captor, they only know him as Doc. He's sort of this heavy-set, overweight guy who, he has clients come in and pay for the sexual services that he makes the girls perform. Like I said, I think Alex is a little bit older, maybe 18, 19, maybe 20 or so. Stacy is about 17 or 18, and Cammie's like 7 or 8 or 9. So it does deal with some really vile people. This book it was dark. It made me feel dirty. It made me feel uncomfortable. Made me feel unclean. And that is, again, a testament to Chad's writing. But in the book, these girls, they're of course, they're wanting to break free. They're wanting to escape and be free of this, prison that they're in. And I love the setting of it. This nice beachfront property, where people would typically go to get away, go on vacation, to escape it all. But for them, it's a prison. They're on this beachfront property, but they're in prison there. They are kept in the attic unless they're, have to come down to the second floor to perform the sexual acts. But they live in the attic. There's only one window. It has bars on it, and it's been painted over, so really they can't see out. One of the girls, I believe Cammie, has like scratched a little spot through the paint where they can see just a little bit outside. But they don't get any sunlight, so that's, hence the pale white, where that sort of name comes from. And Alex, the older girl, has been here, like I said, for a long time, and it feels like she's been mentally conditioned through these violent acts that have been put upon her and other things that it talks about. She's come to think that she has actually been transformed into a vampire. Her psyche has been fractured and cracked, and that is sort of seems like it might be her coping mechanism to deal with her situation that she's in. And Chad does a good job of keeping the reader guessing. Is she really maybe a vampire? Is she not? Is it all in her head? So I really like that aspect of it. But the book deals with the girls. They're trying to break free from this prison. They're trying to escape, and it poses the question, if they are able to escape, or if someone does come and rescue them, will they ever truly be free? Even if they are to break out outside the walls of this house, will they ever really truly feel like that they're safe, that they've escaped, that they've left this life? I sort of thought of it like a scar. They've all been scarred, literally and physically and emotionally. And scars over time, they can heal, they can fade away, but they don't truly ever leave. They don't ever go away completely. And I feel like that's sort of what this story is talking about, is trying to tell. People who have gone through these traumatic experiences, especially something like this, sex trafficking, being kidnapped and basically sold into sex slavery. You might escape that life one day, but will truly never leave you. You might be able to, sort of get over it, have a life of your own after that, but deep down inside, it's truly never going to leave you. It's sort of the downtrodden and the oppressed, and just, it does great dealing with those themes in the book. Like I said, it's super dark. There's something that's sort of vaguely hinted at least to me it was vaguely hinted at. It might be more obvious to other readers. But once I finished the book, I actually reached out to Chad and asked him if my suspicions were true, if what I thought happened was something that really happened. And he confirmed that yes, that was what he was intending, that did actually happen. And I don't want to say what it is because it'll give stuff away, but that took the darkness level of this book to a whole nother level. It's way darker than I thought originally. Like I said, it's vile, it's gross, it's dark, it's sort of depressing because this is stuff that happens in real life. It's a window into sort of the shocking real thing. Sex trafficking does happen in real life, and this is sort of Chad Lutzke's take on that, to bring that to the forefront, bring it to people's attention and things like that. But I don't really want to say too much else about it. Like I said, it is short. I did really, really enjoy it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I said this with Al Behind the Barn too. It's not like this what do I want to say? I felt like at the end I was wanting more time with these characters. But that's not to say, that's not a negative on the book. And it's not to say that it's not a complete story. It's not a complete story arc that Chad gives us. It is. But his writing is so good, and I fell in love with these characters. I was wanting to spend more time with them, learn more about what was going to happen to them, where their lives were going to go, and so on. So like I said, that's not a negative, that I was wanting more. I feel like that's a testament to his writing and being able to rope me in and grip me, have this gripping story that he's able to tell just over the course of a short 90 pages or so. So like I said, I did really like the ending as well. It's sad, it's heartbreaking, it's bleak, but there is sort of that ray of hope, that ray of sunshine a little bit at the end without giving anything away. But like I said, 4.5 stars. This is my first Lutzke experience as a solo novel, solo novella. I'm definitely going to be reading more of his work. I have his other book, or one of his other books, Of Foster Homes and Flies, on my shelf that I want to read. But yeah, Chad Lutzke, he seems to be the king of the novella, and his writing, it's super impactful and punchy, and just leaves you sort of gut-wrenched and heartbroken once it's all over. But yeah, this is 4.5 stars for me. I'll round it up to 5 for Goodreads and Amazon. But that's all I have to say about it. If you have read The Pale White, I'd like to hear your thoughts and comments about it down in the comment section below. If you liked it, didn't like it, whatever it may be. But that's all I have time for today. So thanks for spending your time with me. Again, my name is Brad, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.